And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than a pioneer, a frontline soldier, an activist, a believer, a family man, and so much more. None other than our brother hailing out of Atlantic City, Brother Eric Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam, good brother.
Yes, sir. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, yes, sir. The first question that we have for you is when did you first hear the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad?
That's an interesting story. Well, I was born and raised in Philadelphia, and there was a brother who worked in the barbershop. His name was Poochie. His real name was William. A lot of the viewers may know him. That was William 58X in the Delonics. We grew up together.
Okay.
So, there's always somebody in the hood that done heard the teachings and is coming around and, dropping wisdom. So I come up in the era where we used to get our hair processed, right?
Okay.
And so Brother William Poochie used to work in the barbershop and he used to process hair. So I'm sitting in the chair and he's doing my hair and he telling me something about this man named Yakub. And he said Yakub had 59,999 followers and they went to the island of Pilan and that's where he made the white man and blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, I never heard nothing like this before, right? And so while he was processing my hair, he was actually processing my mind for the teachings. And so that was the first time, about in 1966, 67, that I actually can pinpoint where I heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And people are showing you love already right now. People in the comments saying shout out to Poochie. And Brother Majid says, yes, sir. Muhammad Mars number 12, history, Philadelphia. Walaikum salam, Sister Miriam. Thank you for sending greetings. 147 Savage out of Flint, Michigan. Thank you for always showing love, dear brother. And thank you to everybody else who's watching around the world. Okay, so let's stay right there. So the brother from Poochie from the Delphonics, processing your hair, processing your mind, then how does that, okay, then what's the next step?
Well, me and his brother, Wilbur, also a Delphonic, right?
Okay.
He had never heard it either. So we used to hang out together. They grew up right across the street from me in West Philly. And so he would always come and drop the teachings, and he had a little broke up 3-string guitar. And he used to manufacture tunes out of nowhere. The brother was very talented, even as a young boys, And so this was my start, pretty much, of hearing the teachings once again.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. This is excellent history. Walaikum salam to Naima. Walaikum salam, Brother Nasir from the Enemy's Public, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Thank you, Sister Naima, for tapping in from Georgia. Please let us know what city you all are watching from and state. Yes, sir. So for those who don't know, younger generation, the Delphonics are the group that sings la 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 la. Okay, yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So shout out to the Delphonics. Okay. Once you joined the nation, how did your family and friends feel about you accepting the teachings?
Family was ambivalent. My grandmother was like, I don't care. As long as he's doing right, it's all right with me. Because we always say the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, right? I guess we say it so fast.
Yes, sir.
To her, it sounded like I was saying the speaker says, right? And so she said, he always talking about the speaker said. I said, who's the speaker? She said, what's that man's name? I said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. She said, yes, the speaker.
Yes, sir. So could you let us know the laboring staff of Muhammad Mosque number 12 at the time?
At that particular time, brother Milton and brother B.I. Samuel Christian were the co-captains. And it was Minister Jeremiah Shabazz and also brother Clifford Rashidin is his name now. And he was the secretary.
Okay, yes,
and brother's first officer's wife, Sister Sheila, she was the captain then, the MGT captain. And we had like 4 mosques in the city. It was 12, 12, 12E, and 12C. And I was out in 12C in West Philadelphia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
And the minister at 12C was a brother that you did an interview, brother Omar Kareem. He was, I think he was about 19 and I was about 20. And he was the minister and I was his assistant.
Go ahead. Okay.
Yes.
Beautiful. Shout out to the history and the believers of Philadelphia. This is great. What we want to know, sir, is what was Minister Jeremiah like? What was he like as a minister?
Minister Jeremiah was dynamic. He was a brother who recognized talent and would put you to work. And as long, because he was secure in his position. And he wasn't worrying about anybody stealing the limelight from him. He knew who he was in the eyesight of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so he let us work out. You know, he heard me teaching one day over the rostrum. And he later on told me, he said, I'm gonna do his voice. He said, Brother Eric, I hear you crowing. He said, you should go find you a place. And I said, yes, sir, Brother Minister. And he gave me a few pointers. And then I went out to look for a place in South Philadelphia at the time. So he was a very generous, very gracious, very humble brother too, as dynamic as he was. And he got a lot of respect from the believers in number 12 at that time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what's his like we hear, few of us hear his name, but what was his story? What was he like? What was like what happened with him? What his life? What happened with Mr. Jeremiah?
Well, Minister Jeremiah, he was he got out of the service and he had been soldiering since about 1954. And he said the first mosque in Philadelphia was on Bailey Street, right off of Columbia Avenue, which they call Cecil B. Moore now.
Okay.
And he said that's the place when Malcolm was coming around building up the nation, that Malcolm had stayed with him at that particular time. And they together began to spread Islam in the city. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. And did you ever get an opportunity to hear or see the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad speak?
Yes, sir. Savior's Day, 1970, 71, 72, and 73. As a matter of fact, in 1972, I recall we went out And, you know, we were dog tired after getting off the plane. And I was put on post. And one of the brothers said, we just want you to sit in the audience, keep an eye on the lost found, make sure that everything is in order. And you know your general orders, yes, sir, okay, go. And that was it, you know? And I'm sitting in the audience, and you know how hard it is to just sit there without going to sleep. So I was wiggling my toes and pinching my fingers and everything else I could do, because I certainly did not want to fall asleep on my post on this particular day.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. And okay, so now the 1975 comes. The Most Hon Elijah Muhammad departs. How did that personally affect you and your family, but the community as well?
Well, I'm blessed in the sense that I had a very dynamic lieutenant that trained me.
Okay, okay.
And we used to talk at call outs after we would soldier at night or whatever, and we used to come and have discussions. And this lieutenant, his name was Lieutenant Gerald. The believers now know him as Sultan. He went with the Imam, but he used to always tell us that it was going to be a time that they was going to say that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was dead, and it's not going to be true. And he said, I don't care who says that he is, even if it's me, don't believe it, so forth and so on and so on. So when it was announced that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had passed, I'm like, it ain't true. But most of the believers went with the new leadership. We were so used to hearing and obeying, and the way Savior's Day was set up that year, it appeared to be a succession of everyone was in line, even the minister. And we accepted his leadership, the Imam, because he came out talking strong. If you go back and look at the tape, what he said, you know, if the wind of hypocrisy should blow through this house, we'll shut it down, and blah, 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 and my father this and my father that. And it wasn't 2 months later that he was talking ill of his father. Well, this affected me because I love the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's the man that gave me life.
Yes, sir.
And so when he started speaking ill, it didn't sit right with me. And I was in the community then, and I just didn't like it. And I began to let them know. I was like a voice of one or maybe two more brothers with me that, you know, didn't like it. So I peeled off and went briefly back into the world. But this is the thing. I had did time, right? In 1971, I met Minister Abdul Kareem Muhammad. I was coming to Trenton State Prison, and he was leaving Trenton State Prison. And he told me, he said, if there's anything, this is in 72. He said, if you need anything, just let me know, okay? So I kept it in mind. And so when the nation fell, like I said, I went back into the world a little bit. You know, I didn't do nothing crazy, but just going back, you know, and not spreading the teachings of what I know from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I would say I fell back because I didn't do that. But when I heard that the minister was coming back, it was some brothers in Plainfield that knew Kareem, and he contacted them, and I reminded him of what he had told me, and he began to write me letters as he was rebuilding of how to go about setting up the nation inside the jail in study groups. Now, here's a man that was busy helping our leader and teacher, but he took the time out to write me letters and my concern and send me tapes of what was going on in the world. As a matter of fact, I have a picture here. I'll show it to you a little bit later of the minister and two brothers at Kareem's house.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Praise. Okay, all praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. And thank you. This is, first of all, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we thank Allah for you and your sacrifices, many sacrifices, and the sacrifices of your family to help establish Islam here in North America and throughout the world. So we truly salute you and honor you, Brother Eric. So praise be to Allah. Thank you. And people are showing you love all around the world. Welcome, Salam, Brother Michael. Thank you for always showing love. Said peace, family. Peace to you, sir. Okay, our next question is we want to stay right here with the prison. How once he was giving you instructions, what was he telling you to do to help start the prison ministry? Like what was he saying?
He said first of all, because in those days the Nation of Islam was in full regalia. We used to wear the epaulets on our shoulders with the sun, moon, and stars. We would drill in the yard, and and had the big respect. So he told us to go in the cells or wherever we meet at quietly and study. He told us to read the article by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, We Must First Be Brothers, and just to study. And he said, exactly what he told me was, when you go to the bathroom, brother, make sure you clean yourself first before you come out. And that was to say, clean up first. Get back to studying the teachings, being that righteous example for the people to follow. You know what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about a clean glass and a dirty glass. So just go back and make sure you are the best representatives of the teachings. And that's what I did.
Beautiful. All praise to Allah. Excellent advice, and thank you for listening to that advice. Welcome, Salam, Brother Ian. Let's get those thumbs. Thank you very much, brother. Your luxury auto concierge holding it down out of DC. Welcome, Salam, sir. Thank you very much for always showing love. Yes, sir. Okay, so the nation falls. That's 1975. When did you say recommit and say you were ready on this side of the cavalry to accept and help?
Well, soon as I heard that the minister had dedicated his life to rebuilding the works, I was right on board, because that's what I love. That's what I do. Like I said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the father that gave me life. If it wasn't for him, I'd be dead, not only in a spiritual sense, but probably in a physical sense as well. So all of my loyalties is right there with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. All right. So you get out of prison, and then what takes place?
Well, I get out and I go to number 25, right? And doing the first building, I was Eric 5X, all right? And so when I get out, I go to Newark with Minister Kadir, and I become Eric 11X.
Okay.
I said, yeah, that's cool. 2 1s, all right, we can work with that. And we soldiered up there and under Cap Majid, and I stayed up there for about a year or so, and then I transferred to Baltimore. And then I soldiered in Baltimore. It was Brother Captain Larry, who you also interviewed. Strong brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We still great friends today. I tap his well for wisdom, and he taps mine, but more me tapping his. Yeah, and we stayed down Baltimore from 94 to 98.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Under at that time, Minister Carlos, who now is Abdul Salam,
Yes, sir.
and Brother Keel was the captain then. And yeah. Um, so yeah, I had great time soldiering in Baltimore, met a lot of great believers. Matter of fact, I got to Baltimore right after your uncle left, Brother Jamil left, and
Okay.
Carlos, Abdul Salam was the minister then. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Well, we want to know about the Millionaire March. What was the climate like leading up to the?
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
It was not, oh brother, I'm telling you. Look, let me just remember. All right, I'm in Baltimore. And we get there before sunrise in the morning, and it was jam-packed already. And they're doing libations on the stage, and the lost found looked around, saw and said, "Oh, it's the brothers. Let them through." And they parted, right? And you know that little brick wall that's right around the Capitol?
Okay.
It's about 3 feet high. They actually lifted us up and put us over the wall, and then we went to the stage to get our instructions, right? Just so happens that I don't know how I did it, but I was assigned the stage that morning, right?
Okay.
And I'm sandwiched between Maya, Angelo, and Dick Gregory, right? And then I'm standing right between them. I look this way, there's Dick Gregory. I look this way, there's Maya Angelou. And I'm like, I had on a brand new pair of gaiters, and they was killing my feet, brother. But I had to stand up there and act like they didn't hurt. But
Yes.
it was, oh, brother. And it was so beautiful. Around the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's brother was there. He was on stage.
Mm.
And I drew the task of taking him back and forth to the restroom whenever he had to go. And that was like every 15 minutes, right?
Okay. Okay.
So look, he wouldn't just go to the restroom. He had to stop and talk to everybody he saw. I'm the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's brother. Salam alaikum. Right? And look, it took us about a half an hour to get there and a half an hour to get back.
Yes,
He
sir.
was a piece of work, man. Yes, sir. And so
Okay.
we got back on the stage, and then about 12 o'clock, I got relieved from the stage, and I was placed on the stairway. Like the rostrum is in the middle, and you got a staircase on the left, staircase on the right, right? So I was at the top of the staircase on the right, the minister's left. So I'm right there. And I'm there on post with one of the park rangers who was Caucasian. And when the minister did the pledge, before that, the ranger was asking me questions about the nation, right? And he says, I hear the sisters dressed in white that they're holy. I said, you better believe it, pal. Right, I told him that, right. He said, we were told that if anything happened that we should protect them. I said, you should follow instructions, right? And we talked like that, bannered on back and forth, but he showed a genuine interest in what was happening that day, right?
Mm.
And so it was at that time I got relieved, and I went sat down at the top of the Capitol steps. And when I got and sat down, who comes out but Will Smith, the man that played his uncle, what's his name? Alfonso Rivera.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And Will walks up to me, and the congressman from LA, Ron Delmas, right? And I'm sitting down rubbing my feet because I told you I had on these new gaiters, right? And they was killing me. So I'm rubbing my feet, and Will come up to me talking about Salam Lake. I was like, Salam. He's a real clown, man, for real. um, I had briefly met him in Philly before, so he kind of like remembered me, right? And so we was talking and back and forth, and Uncle Phil asked me some questions, and the congressman asked me some questions, and we was talking. And by this time, Jesse Jackson was on the roster, and Jesse came up with his same old line, "I am somebody," and and everybody started booing. They started saying, "We want Farrakhan, we want Farrakhan." Right while Jesse was talking, go back and look at the tapes. It's all there, right? And so this was about 1, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And so after I relieved myself, I went back on post on top of the steps, and just listened as the people was talking, so forth and so on. I had a radio on me, so I was keeping command with with the captain at the time, making sure everything was all right, so forth and so on. And when the minister did the pledge and said, "Say your name," don't you know this park ranger was so wrapped up he was saying his name, brother? All praise due to Allah. That is the effect that the Million Man March had as a whole. I mean, everybody there was wrapped up with a piece of heaven.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Excellent. Okay. Now, Brother Eric, what we want to know is, do you think that we'll ever see something like that again?
Not with that magnitude, not with that feeling, because it was a one in a lifetime event. And the only way it can be duplicated is that you watch the tape. Yes, sir.
So a lot. That's beautiful, and long live the spirit of the Millionaire March. And Sister
Yes,
Naima,
sir.
and everybody who's watching, for those of us who missed it and didn't get the opportunity to go, I always try to, inshallah, we'll have something where we can at least, stand, put our life on the line and stand with the soldiers like you all. Were you nervous about putting your life on the line?
Not at all, brother. You say my life, my sacrifice, and my death is all for Allah. So I jumped at the chance to do anything that I could to contribute to make that day a success. Even before the march, it was slowly picking up momentum in the summer. Like in July and August, we would being in Baltimore, we would go over on like the weekends and talk it up in DC. And we'd be out there selling papers, registering people for the march. And at first it was like a snowball rolling down the hill, and then it gradually would pick up. And by the time that it actually happened, it was a major event, brother. And everybody, that was the place to be. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Now, in the time of Baltimore, or Philly, Baltimore, did the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan did you ever get to see him speak outside of the Millionaire March?
Well, here's the thing. He was always in and out of DC during that time, up and before the march. And one Saturday we were over there, and I get a call from the captain, and it says the minister left a bag at the airport. Right? I said, all right, it couldn't have been the minister. I know the minister didn't leave no bag on it, but I'm gonna go over. He said, Brother Leonard had left it. All right. So I go to the terminal and pick up the bag. But before I even leave the terminal, I searched the bag. The brother that was with me, he was like, brother, you think we should go in the bag? And I said, listen, bro, They said this is the minister's bag and it was left, right? I said, ain't no way in my military mind I'm gonna take this bag back there and something be in it and it'll cause harm to the minister. Are you crazy? So he stood back and I searched it, right? And when I opened it, I immediately saw the minister's shoes. He like a size 7.5. They were like blue ostrich, right, with the little blue socks in there. I took it out, looked at it, put the socks back in the shoe. His shaving equipment with the brush and the double-edged razor on both sides, right? I looked at it, put it back in, and then he had like a pair of Reebok running shoes and a tracksuit, right? And so I made sure nothing was in it, right in the terminal, and then we took it back. Meantime, the captain is calling me, Brother Eric, where you at? Blah, 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 blah. Hurry up, brother, so. I said, I'm on my way, brother, Captain, so. And called me about 5 times before I got from the airport to the hotel. When I get downstairs, he grabs a bag and takes it upstairs to the room, right? To the minister's room, and your dad and Akil was in the room with the minister. And so I'm outside in the outer room with Mustafa and Betsy Jean's son.
Okay.
Yeah. And they up there telling corny jokes and stuff, especially Betsy Jean. He looked like a corny little guy, right? Anyway, Mustafa gives me the greetings. He said, oh, Brother Eric, I see you've been working out. I said, yeah, I'm kind of strong there, Brother Captain, so and so and so and so, Just, little lightweight banner, He said, I would take you in to meet my father, but he's in some heavy discussions right now. I said, that's not necessary. He said, did you search the bag? I said, yes, sir. He said, why you search the bag, brother? And I told him, like I told you, I said, because it ain't no way in my military mind that I'm going to allow something to come in here and do harm to anybody in here, because I'll be the man that will remember down the annals of time that was that did something destructive for our nation. I said, I'm not him. I am not him. So, that was the first time I met Supreme at that time. And then I've seen him at different events, and he remembered me as well.
Beautiful. All praise to Allah. And people are bear witness. Thank you, Naima, saying all praise to Allah. And everybody who's watching, we get some great primary source history from our brother Eric. Want everybody to stay tuned, and please let us know what city you all are watching from. We have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you all to each anonymous Cash App as well as Super Chat. We're coming right back to our brother Eric. And thank you, sir. And Brother Eric, while we on the break, if you want to get the picture, you can. So you can show the people. You said you had a picture that you wanted to show us. 1 second.
Yes, sir. I'll get it.
Academy, she teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My 2 books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Okay, excellent. Cool. All right, and we're just here right now. Thank you, everybody. Please let us know if you all have any guest suggestions, as well as questions for our brother Eric. We went over Minister Jeremiah, the history of the Delphonics. We have to ask a follow-up question about the Delphonics and our brother's connection with them, with the sound of Philadelphia, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad speaking at Savior's Day. And yes, now we're dealing with the Millionaire March time period. So we're around 1995. We're going to bring it right up to present time in 2025. Thank you all, everybody who's watching and continues to show love. and stay with us. We truly appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, Brother Eric, for this great history.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, sir, Brother Eric. We're waiting on you for the picture.
Yes, sir. Hold on a minute there, brother.
Yes, sir. Take your time. All right, while we wait on Brother. Yes, sir. Take your time while we wait on Brother Eric. We also want to just say that we are grateful for this day. A lot going on around the world, so we're grateful that we can all bear witness. There's no God but Allah, and come together and learn history and hear about the teachings of Most Hon Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir, Brother Eric.
And here's the picture. You look closely, you can see the minister in the middle, and the brother on the left is Brother Rodney, and the other brother is Brother Sidney. Brother Sidney was the minister in Plainfield at the time, and Brother Rodney was his captain. And if you look closely, right there, you can see a face of a little girl standing right beneath the minister's legs. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And this was taken at Minister Kareem's house in the early 80s.
All praises due to Allah. Brother Eric, what we want to know is, as someone who has been in the nation for decades and witnessed the fall of the nation, the rise of the nation, and now the coming of the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan, say that his departure is coming soon. What advice would you give to people, the believers, but primarily the younger generation, about holding on to faith?
Faith is extremely important because faith will take you further than facts. Faith will lead you to uncover facts.
Okay.
So, what is it? It said that, what is faith? The essence of things to come forth. This teaching that we have is so revolutionary, so brand new, that if we study them, we actually become who we say we are. And that is gods of the planet Earth. See? Then we begin to act as if, step by step. We say that the Caucasian's time is done. Well, he's not going to get out the way until we begin to act like we're supposed to act, because what? Time dictates the agenda. So now we have to act as if we're the owner, the maker, the cream of the planet Earth and gods of the universe.
Yes, sir.
And faith will take us there, because not any of us first starting out was on that level, but gradually we grow to get there.
Yes, sir.
So we be and it is. It doesn't start in a vacuum. It starts with us practicing the teachings. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, experiment on what I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
He said, don't take it for face value. Test it out. And so that's what I've learned to do, is test it. Let it work for you,
Oh,
yes, sir.
Excellent advice, and thank you to everybody who's watching. We want to know, we want to follow back up with the Delonics. Did you ever get to be around them after 1975? Did you ever reconnect with them?
Oh, yes, sir. We're still friends up to. Matter of fact, I was with Wahid yesterday. There was an event in the park in Atlantic City, and he was sitting in the audience, and they honored him for being the only Delonics still alive of the original Delonics, because there were two groups of Delonics. Wilbur had one, and William had one. Unfortunately, they were brothers that that didn't get along or couldn't get along, and that's known history. And so it was two groups. And being that I grew up with both of them, I was friends with both of them, you know. So that's just how it is, you know.
Praise be to Allah. Well, we glad we have one member still standing strong and getting honored and respect. Yes, sir. What type of music do you enjoy listening to, sir?
Ah, I enjoy a eclectic mix of R&B, jazz, and some hip hop too. But mainly, if you would pin me down, I'm a straight ahead man, which means like mainstream jazz, what they call straight ahead.
Okay, okay.
Coltrane, Miles, Gene Ammons, of that mix, you know. But I really like all music, you know.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Now, Brother Eric, what has been the greatest trial in your life and how have you been able to overcome that trial?
Uh, my greatest trial was being able to stay out of prison,
Mm.
right? Like I said, I did time, and because of the crime I committed, I was on parole for a period of time, and I had to, you know, walk that off, you know. And so staying clean, uh, building up rapport with parole officers because the system is in such flux that I never got a chance to get one, and he became familiar with me and I became familiar with him, so he would know like every year, 6 months they change, and I got to break in another one.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Okay. Well, what has been your greatest joy in life?
my greatest joy, uh, my family. Um, I have a son. My middle son. He's a political lobbyist
Mm.
in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Matter of fact, he's the only black lobbyist in the whole Commonwealth.
Okay.
Uh, he has done work for the mayor of Philadelphia, Sherelle Parker, and I've got to knowing her. I have pictures of me and her. Uh, as a matter of fact, we do her security uh,
Mm.
in Philly when she calls the FOI, and we have a date next week to do something in her neighborhood. So we've been doing that with her for the last 20 years or so when she was a councilman or a council person for the city of Philadelphia. Yeah. hmm
Beautiful. Okay, great. Yes, sir. And what advice would you give to future husbands?
Ah, well, when we understand how important marriage is in the development of our nation, I would say that you get a grip on yourself, meaning that you got to know yourself first, right? And marriage is what? Two minds coming together to be one. So we have an anchor in the teachings with Master Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We have a belief that's in common. So that's the basis of a sound relationship. Um, Remembering who she is in reference to who you are, and to always treat her kindly and give her tender loving and care.
Okay, okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And people are
And
bearing witness.
always let her know that you appreciate it.
Mm, beautiful. Yes, sir. Great advice. And people are bearing witness to comments saying that's right. That's how you treat a sister. Beautiful. Lastly, sir, we want to know, um, oh, as far as Atlantic City, a place to tourists who come there. What are things we should do?
If you want to come here,
Yes, sir.
well, first of all, I would say come to the mosque on 5 South Tennessee Avenue. Give us a visit every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. We'll be able to hear our dynamic minister, Michael Muhammad,
Yes,
deliver the
sir.
teaching of Hon Elijah Muhammad. Um, just beware, that it's a lot of scams going on out there.
Mm,
So, just be careful, be mindful, and keep your eye on your pocketbook.
mm. Yes, sir. Okay, great. Well, we want to thank you again, sir. And inshallah, when either you're gonna visit Atlanta, I don't know when, but I intend to come to Atlantic City. I gotta go. I gotta get out of the South, Midwest, and the West journey. I gotta come up east and come up there to the Atlantic City. It would be my honor to break bread with you in person, sir, if that's possible.
Yes, sir. By all means, I'd love to have you, brother.
Yes, sir. I would love to hear so many more of your stories and ask you, more questions off air. So thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. You did a great job, and we salute you. We salute your family. Thank your family as well for their sacrifices, and we honor you all. Man, this is great to have a pioneer like yourself on the People's Podcast. We're truly humbled. Thank
All
you, sir.
praise to Allah.
Yes, sir. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Well, Salam, dear family. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for watching.